Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Fuller, and as Chair of the Board, I welcome you to this January 7th, 2025 regular meeting of the Washtenaw County Board of Road Commissioners. Our Office Coordinator, Aaron Smith, will describe how our meetings operate, how to access the agenda packet, and how people may participate remotely. Aaron.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. There are multiple ways to make public comment during today's board meeting, whether you're joining us in person or virtually. If you're here in person and would like to make comment, please fill out the sign-in sheet now. If you're joining us virtually, we will ask you to raise your hand at the appropriate time in the agenda. If you're joining us virtually and are experiencing technical issues with audio or video during the meeting, submit a comment in the chat feature and I will help you troubleshoot. If you would like closed captioning during this meeting, you'll have to manually change your settings. Click on the captions button and select show captions. The audio and video of this meeting is being recorded and a link to the recording will be posted to our website in the next few days. There are printed copies of today's meeting agenda on the table near the front door, and it is also posted on our website. And now I'll turn it back over to Chair Fuller.
Thank you, Aaron. I now call this January 7th, 2025 regular meeting to order and ask Aaron to call the roll.
Chair Barb Fuller.
Present.
Vice Chair Rod Green.
Present.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas is not with us at this moment. Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Present.
And Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Present.
And then the following directors are in attendance: Managing Director Matt Washtenaw, our Director of Engineering and County Highway Engineer Brent Schlack, our Director of Operations Adam Leip, and Director of Finance Dan Ackerman.
Please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So move.
Second.
Additions, deletions, corrections? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would, please.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs,
Yes.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the agenda is approved as presented. Next, may I have a motion to accept the board meeting minutes of December 17th, 2024. They appear on pages 3 through 10 of the packet.
So moved. Support.
Additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would, please.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the December 17th minutes are accepted as presented. Next, we have time set aside to hear from our county commissioner liaisons. I don't see any of them. Tiffany, is anyone
You are
hiding out
correct,
there?
Madam Chair. They are not here.
All right. Next up is public comment. This is the time set aside on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended to be a period for dialogue. Each person will be allotted 3 minutes to address the board. Aaron will explain how people may be recognized to offer comments.
Since this is a hybrid meeting with both in-person and virtual attendees, we will take turns between those attending in person and virtually. For our virtual attendees, we have provided some instructions on the screen on how to participate and make comment. If you're attending this meeting virtually and would like to make comment, please raise your hand now. If you dialed into the meeting from your phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. Our communications manager, Tiffany Oliphant, will unmute virtual participants with raised hands one at a time and will announce your username or the last 4 digits of your phone number when it is your turn to speak. Please share your name and address before beginning your comments. And then for in-person attendees, we will start with those who signed up on the sign-in sheet as you walked in. If you didn't sign in, you're still welcome to make comment. We'll notify you when it is your turn.
Thank you. Are there any hands raised out there?
At this time, no, Madam Chair.
Has anyone signed in wishing to speak?
At this time, no, Madam Chair.
Very good. We will move on to written communications appearing on pages 11 through 13 of the packet. Commissioners, anything you wish to draw our attention to?
Madam Chair, there is a delightful letter from Brett Springay regarding the area of Earhart Road, north of Warren, some icy conditions, and thanking our road crew for taking care of that area in an icy situation.
All right. Thank you,
Great
Commissioner
letter.
Green. For anyone out there, that was on page 13.
Yes.
Anyone else? Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, Madam Chair, I also wanted to acknowledge the letter sent from Brett Springay. I thought it was very nice that he put into detail about the icy road conditions and what was done to help make that a better road to drive on by the road commission. So we always appreciate the feedback from constituents. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no further comments on the written communications, and we had no public comments, so no follow-up is required. New business, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 3? The motions appear on pages 14 and 15 with the background on pages 16 through 32.
So move.
Second.
Any questions about any of those items, commissioners? All right, seeing none. Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the consent agenda is approved as presented. Did we have a motion and a first and a second? Yep. We did, okay.
Yes.
All right, let's move on. New business. There were no action items listed this time. We'll move to reports of the road commissioners, starting with Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was absent at the last meeting, but on December 9th, I attended a meeting of the negotiating committee of the Michigan County Road Association, and I also attended on December 10th a meeting of the legal symposium. Both meetings were held in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, and on December 20th, I attended a meeting of the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Green. Commissioner Smurs,
No report at this time.
Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, Madam Chair, on December 19th, I attended the Washtenaw County Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. The 2024 Connecting Communities Project Awards were recommended. Connecting Communities is a competitive grant program that provides supplemental funding for the development on non-motorized pathways, with particular focus on making connections between communities and activity centers. The program is funded through the road and non-motorized millage, which was renewed in August 2024. Each year, Washtenaw County Parks and Rec provides up to $600,000 in funding for pathways in Washtenaw County, with $100,000 going toward planning and $500,000 for construction projects. Connecting Communities has awarded more than $7.2 million toward local non-motorized trail projects since its inception in 2010. Based on review of the grant applications by staff this year, 2024, project feasibility and community discussions, it was recommended to agree to award grants to City of Chelsea, Main Street, Lodi Township, Manchester Township, Northfield Township for a total of $510,000. On January 6th, I attended the Parks and Rec Eastern Washtenaw Rec Center Subcommittee meeting. The meeting was held to update several commissioners about the Parks and Rec plans so far for the center and what will be the next steps. The commissioners in attendance were Commissioner Hodge, Commissioner Somerville, Commissioner Saunders, and Commissioner Light. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner McCollum. Commissioner Yamas.
No report.
I will report that on December 18th, I attended the weekly chat session and we had one visitor. On December 21st and January 4th, bless you, I attended the Dexter Forum. I'd like to recognize and thank the team members who arranged and staffed 5 holiday parades over the month of December. I'd also like to thank Tiffany Oliphant for her incredible help during the absence of Aaron and to welcome Aaron back. It's nice to see. So we've got a full complement here again. And that concludes my report. We will move on to staff reports and updates. Staff reports appear on pages 33 through 47 of the packet. I'll turn this over to our Managing Director, Matt McDonald.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I'd just
ask if there's any questions on the reports provided in the board packet. We had finance, HR, and IT. I will highlight, if there's no questions. We do have 3 employees starting Monday, which is exciting. So we had 3 new hires for drivers, 2 in District 2, 1 for heavy equipment. So that's exciting.
Commissioner McCollum, you have a question?
Yes, Madam Chair. Manager, that question I asked about the tickets, the Washtenaw, yes, WCRC Help Center.
So that is listed under the IT report. That's going to be one of the
Oh, okay.
projects that IT is going to be working on. Right now, we have a IT help desk. You
Right.
can submit a ticket for a technology issue. We're hoping to expand that to facilities and potentially the shop as well. So that we can track requests, internal
Oh, okay.
requests, for things that need attention. So that is a project that Chris and Josh will be potentially taking on for this coming year.
Yeah.
You bet.
I would just like to comment, lots of activity outlined in these reports that were submitted. It's been a busy couple of weeks since the last time we met. So good work, everyone out there.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate the work that HR has been doing to help with the recruiting effort. We're down to 6 open positions. So that's exciting. But we have an upcoming retirement. At our next meeting, we'll recognize, so that will ever changing, right?
Yeah.
Ever changing. So. But well done. All right, with that, I will ask Mr. Lake to come up and give the operations department report.
Good afternoon, Adam Lape, Director of Operations. Yes, as you see in the report, kind of busy the last few weeks, and then weather kind of changed here and considerably cooler than it was last few weeks here. So kind of shifted our focus a little bit more forestry work, surface maintenance were applicable. It's cold, so the roads are kind of hard, so we're trying to balance the unpaved roads as best we can without making too much of a problem for, we do get some type of wet event here later in the year. So our focus will probably stay in that direction, or at least on that pattern, hopefully through the month of January, and then we'll kind of evaluate, see how February is. But right now it looks to be relatively decent weather, just cold for the next, week or two. So we'll kind of see where we end up here, middle of the month, end of the month, and make some change, maybe get ready to do some drainage work here if possible. Through the holiday, as we were finishing up 2024 and celebrating getting into 2025, we were pretty lucky, didn't really have to respond to much snow and ice. We did work a few little winter maintenance activities, but they ended up falling for the most part on our regular scheduled days. So it wasn't too out of the ordinary. We didn't lose too much time at home with friends and family. So I was pretty good. Yeah, we don't mind when it's kind of quiet around the holidays. But with that being said, that's really the only update we have. It's been kind of quiet a couple of weeks, and we like that way. But if there are any questions, please feel free to ask.
I don't
Right.
see any questions.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Brent Schlack. Engineering report.
Hello, good afternoon. Brent Schlack, Director of Engineering. Happy New Year to everyone. I just have a few updates. We do have one active project. It's on our weekly, and Tiffany's going to kind of follow along. So on our weekly, we have our Ann Arbor Saline. It's our congestion mitigation air quality project. And I think there's 7 traffic signals. So along Ann Arbor Saline, so Ann Arbor Saline Waters, Lore, Oak Valley Waters, Ann Arbor Saline Meyer, Ellsworth Airport, Maple and Textile, State and Textile. The contractor will be working out there. There's a few signals in the city of Saline. This is a partnership with the city of Saline, this project. So they'll be modernizing some of the signals within the city of Saline, Maple, Woodland, and then installing a new one at the middle school in Maple. And then there's one MDOT signal at US 12 in Maple. So that project's ongoing. They're replacing vehicle detection, improving some of the equipment within the cabinet. So that's a project that's going on right now. Aside from that, we do have a active bid out there that we're advertising. And that's for Tyler Road. That's for the approach to that bridge. So that's active. That bid opening will be on January 31st at 10 a.m. So we're hopefully to get some good bids in and get that project moving for this year.
When's that bid opening?
January 31st,
Okay.
that Friday.
Oh,
Commissioner McCollum,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
is there some reason why it's not, the bid opening isn't sooner? Jen?
We wanted to give some time, so then we have to, the reason not sooner is because for one, it was during the holidays. So we wanted to give the contractors the contractors some time to digest what is, all happening with this project. And we have to juggle the MDOT bid lettings.
Hmm.
So we don't want to overlap with whenever they're trying to submit their projects for the MDOT federal aid bid lettings. So we kind of, that's the reason we chose that date. And it kind of gives some time after the holiday, and hopefully we'll get some good bids in. It's a good time frame for accepting bids.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Green.
do we send that bid to a third party who then opens it up to other interested parties? Or how does that bid process work? Just
So we
curious.
advertise it on our website.
Right.
And then we do, Bid Express is, what we use to compile the data. And then actually we open up the information for, I guess it's a third-party software that the contractors then can access all the plans and all the information for the bid through that Bid Express. So it's an online software. As far as advertisement, it's mainly our website. We do send those out to some contractors that are within the area. We do have some publications that reach out, but we don't actively reach them. Our website is our main tool for advertising the bid.
So
I don't know
if
if
a
that answers your
contractor does
question.
not go to our website, is there any other way that they know about the bid?
Tiffany can help us with this.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Commissioner Green, they actually can go sign up on our signups. Like you sign up for a project page, you can sign up for bids. So you would get that to your email. Anytime we send out a bid via our website, we also send it out via our MailChimp, which is our email marketing. And so you would have to sign up for that when you subscribe. You subscribe to a project page, you subscribe to bids, you subscribe to get the weekly roadwork schedule. So someone would have to, a contractor or someone would have to subscribe to that, and they would get all of our bids listed besides logging into the page to see what we are advertising.
I see. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brett.
You're welcome. Aside from that, staff is working on closing out 2024 projects, building 25 projects. We're working with communications. We do have some of the projects up on our current project website. So we've been working with them on populating all that, updating the map, and then we have cards. So Tiffany's showing how to get there. Again, this is an excellent resource for any of our projects. So we have the cards or the where you can access each project, so you can select one, and then so Tiffany's hovering over the countywide paving and resurfacing. So this one then will link you to all of our paving. We have a big paving year next year, or this year. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck in 24. So,
there.
yeah. So for 25, we have a big HMA paving program. And so we created a separate tab to kind of clean up that main page so that you can get to all of our paving projects. So aside from that, again, I would encourage those that are curious about our projects to visit our website, and we'll be cleaning up information here and scheduling our first public meeting, hopefully here in February for our HMA.
Commissioner Yamas.
I have a question about Morgan Road between Michigan Avenue and Carpenter.
Yeah,
Is that completed? It's blacktop? Is that?
It's mostly complete. It's not complete. They ran out of, run up on seasonal limitations. So there's actually a portion from US 12, about 500 feet or so, that's unpaved. That was due to some MDOT permitting. And then we did not go through final top course on that project. So they'll be coming back in the spring and finishing that project off.
Brian, just as a reminder, that one was the permitted work.
Yes,
For
thank
the Amazon distribution center. So that's something that we had worked with Amazon and negotiated a road improvement agreement. That was something they had to complete as part of that project. So that was not something that was funded by the road commission.
Right. Yeah, and aside from that, thank you, Matt.
Mhm.
Morgan Road was the paving portion of that road improvement agreement. They also were be working on 2 existing traffic signals, one at Clover Lane in Carpenter, one at Morgan and Carpenter, and then installing a new traffic signal to one of their driveways, basically between those 2 on Carpenter Road.
So I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the project and I thought it was going to be paved. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be cement, right? So it's going to be a blacktop road. Do you know what they're going to?
It'll be HMA asphalt, yes, yeah. It doesn't, yeah, we did not specify that it had to be concrete. Again, we're fortunate to have a lot of HMA asphalt contractors within the area, and so that's the material choice for that project.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anybody else?
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. And Mr. Ackerman with the finance report.
Good afternoon, board. Happy New Year. Dane Ackerman, Director of Finance. I always monitor the weather very closely with the hopes of getting through the 31st without any snow, which I realize it's Michigan, so it's going to snow, but just for the budget purposes. And then I say, okay, it can snow now. So we're in 2025, so.
Check with Adam.
Yeah, right. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's always, my family usually rolls their eyes at me because they want to see a white Christmas. I'm like, I don't need to see one, but I'm always thinking about the budget, so. Well, let's talk Michigan Transportation Funds.
Yeah.
The last page of your packet has the latest, maybe not necessarily the greatest, but has the latest information. I'll give you a moment.
Page 40, yep, page
The
47.
last page, yeah.
Always the last page.
Yes. So November of 2024, we always compare the years. Compared to 2023 was up a little less than 2%. Which again, not great. For the year, we're basically flat. Which leaves us hoping that December, and you can see here that December receipts in 2023 were nearly 4 million, so we're hoping for that or more. But it just creates an interesting scenario that we're hoping that the marijuana tax, that whole portion of what's collected is in the December receipts is our understanding. So we're kind of hoping that that continues to bring in more funds, but it's not the best position to be in that we're hoping on something like that. So I was kind of thinking like, is there another way that could be distributed, or, anyway, it is what it is. And, we'll be fine either way, where those funds come in. But, it is a little tighter than I would like it to be, but, certainly this organization will be fine. Regardless if it comes in a little under budget, and, but hopefully it'll come a little bit over, so.
So Dan, does the state collect that revenue the end of their fiscal year, which would be September? No, it's calendar year?
Yeah, and that's a good question. Maybe it is, and maybe it takes that long to process everything. That's a great question, because I don't know exactly the mechanisms they go through to, monitor what's out there, and, right. So that's a very good question. That might, I imagine CRA would know, or maybe I'll do some looking on MDOT's website. Maybe there's some explanations about that process. So, because it is still fairly new,
Right.
but it'd be good to know kind of
would help you, I would think, to
Yeah.
understand.
Right, and if it is something that's based on their fiscal year, could they maybe bump that to November or so?
Okay.
That's a good question.
Commissioner Yamas, I'm sorry.
Hi, so do you remember, it seems to me it came the information came kind of late last year. Do you remember about what time it came in? Was it February? The information about the marijuana tax?
We should receive, we'll know what we received for Michigan Transportation Funds and probably the breakdown by the end of this month.
Okay,
So we shall see, but we won't actually receive it until February.
okay, thank you.
Besides that, finance department's definitely been hopping. We successfully had our first payroll of the new year out, which is a huge lift. You have tax tables have changed, majority of the employee deductions change. Archiving previous year anyway, just a lot of, very involved. And we also had, in one of our earlier payrolls of, the check date actually should have been January 1, but that's a federal holiday, so we moved that to the 2nd. And we made sure to communicate that to our employees through multiple channels, just so they could plan accordingly, which, I think if there's mortgage payments and things that are due on the 1st, the banks are closed, so I believe that also gets bumped to the next day, so that shouldn't adversely impact our employees. So, and doing all this on top of the fact that there were several holidays, which we're very appreciative of, but we also have deadlines we have to meet, and just want to acknowledge Tracy Balkwell, who handles our payroll, does a great job. And, we worked together to try to tackle things we could in advance. So when we got towards the end, that we could process everything timely without too much stress and so on. And she did a great job. I've not heard from any employees either concerned that they didn't get paid until the 2nd, or saying that there are any issues with their paychecks, which is great. So we definitely take it very seriously. We want to make sure that it's accurate and definitely timely. So, but so far so good with all that, which is great. Similarly, we had our first accounts payable check run of the year. Again, kind of doing a similar process, archiving the previous year and setting things up. And Jamie Kraus did a great job with that as well. And, we cut off new purchases in early December. And so that kind of helps with our year end stuff. So, less invoices to process and so on. So certainly that assisted us.
Dan, I have a
with that.
question for
Yeah.
you. Since all of our employees are paid with direct deposit,
Yes.
is it not possible to schedule in advance for those payments to hit their accounts on the 1st of January, since there's no paper to theoretically move around?
So it's my understanding when the banks are closed, you cannot send ACHs
Oh,
effective on the 1st.
okay,
Right.
that
So
answers the
basically,
question.
yeah, basically no banking business, because, certainly a lot of this is being done in advance. It's just a matter of the banks being closed and not being able to, not only are the physical banks closed, but ACH, electronic processing, all of that, so. Mhm.
Okay,
I think that's the first time we've had a January 1 check date. There must have been another time when I was here, but anyway, so we made it through, and doesn't appear that there are any
off their
issues.
house because it hit
Right,
on the 2nd.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And we started communicating in October, just so employees could plan ahead if they needed to, so.
Okay.
So no, I thought that worked pretty well. And then we're also continuing to send a flurry of invoices again for work done in 2024 to our townships. We've sent some reminders, and the townships have been great to work with so far. So that process is going well. We sent a lot of culvert invoices out for ARPA work. And we did notice there was some turnover at the townships. So something we sent out in October, November, there may be new officials. So we're getting all that squared away as best we can. So, and certainly we need those revenues in by the end of February so that they can account towards our budget. If we receive it after February, it becomes deferred revenues. Worst case scenario, myself or someone on the leadership team maybe would go to pick up a check. We've done that before to assist with the timeframes. Hopefully we don't have to do that, but we're more than willing to do that if it means being able to recognize it for the previous year's budget. So besides that, we're excuse me, prepping for tax work. One of the least favorite things of my job, but very important, of course. We're gonna try and get W-2s out, I believe next week. And then the 1095 Affordable Care Act forms and 1099s and 941 anyway. So a lot of tax work needs to be done and that needs to be done timely as well. So yeah, busy time and getting ready for the audits, which will be in early February. So, but we're doing fine and we got over some major hurdles. So I'm feeling pretty good about things. That's all I have unless there's any other questions.
Any questions for Dan? Commissioner Smers?
I just, more of a comment. I just want to commend you and your team. That's forward thinking, making sure that everyone knew in October. So that's good paying attention. Hopefully nobody had to worry about it being one day late, but at least they could plan on it if they did.
Yeah,
And
and
involved, that was great.
yeah, certainly anything involving employees' finances, we want to make sure that, we're communicating well in advance and through multiple channels too. Definitely important to us. We know it's important to them. So appreciate that.
Anybody else? I don't see anything.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
thanks, Dan.
That concludes our report. Do see Chair Fuller. Is your pleasure. You have Commissioner Sanders.
Sure, if the board does not object, I would like to invite Commissioner Caroline Sanders to say hello. Hi, Caroline.
It is afternoon now. Good afternoon. Happy New Year to everybody. My report is going to be light. I am just returning from a well-needed respite. I hope that you all are enjoying your new year and that you got some rest as well. We have, I don't even know if I would call it a meeting, but tomorrow, the commissioners are being sworn in. We do not have a 5:30 meeting, but we do have a 7 o'clock. So, as always, everybody is welcome to join us. And we will be kicking off, this will be our first meeting back since the break. We didn't meet obviously last week because it was literally New Year's Day. So I hope all is well with you and I look forward to seeing you throughout the year at your meetings and let me know if there's anything that I can do. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Happy New Year, Commissioner.
Happy New Year.
Did anyone have any questions or thoughts for Caroline? Seeing none. Okay. Matt, you're all set?
I am. Thank you.
Okay. A few reminders. January 21st is our next regular meeting and a working session. So on the 21st, we'll commence at 9 a.m. and the topic that working session is the Washtenaw Road Commission Academy and the winter maintenance update. At 1 o'clock, we'll have a regular board meeting. On January 24th is our blood drive. This is the first one of 2025. I encourage people to sign up and donate if they can. In January, chat sessions. Tomorrow, I'm on tap for the chat session. January 15th is Commissioner Green. January 22nd, Commissioner Yamas. The 24th, as I said, is the blood drive. January 29th is Commissioner McCollum. So if there is no further business to come before the board, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support. Aaron, if you would, please.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smers.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.